Nikola Jokic is leading the MVP race for a lot of folks, but there's been some truly epic criticism happening in the basketball community about that. What's that about? We're also going to talk about Michael Porter Jr.'s ascension. The way he is impacting this team goes beyond the basic numbers. The Nuggets need a return game for Jamal Murray tonight versus the Boston Celtics, and we're going to do a little bit of a preview. Nuggets versus Celtics. Best game of the night in the NBA. Y'all know what time it is. It's Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day. So glad to be here with you all. I hope you're having a fantastic start to the new year. What an incredible season it has already been in the NBA this year. We've had a lot of really great basketball, even though the season has been frustrating, a lot of ups and downs, and things have not gone as according to plan. But currently, the Denver Nuggets, they're sitting at the 4 seed in the Western Conference. That's very bunched up from 4 to 10, but they have an opportunity tonight to make some more gains. Y'all, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. From big upsets to game-winning drive, the NFL playoffs are better. With FanDuel, new customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, y'all. So just to give y'all some context, I always obviously talk about MVP stuff. I love MVP stuff. I love talking about the odds. I love talking about the data. I love talking about the impact metrics. That stuff means something to me. You know, growing up, winning an MVP in the NBA was always like the preeminent award for individual play. And that is something that you always want to give a lot of thought to. And you want to make sure that you're awarding players correctly based on, I think, what they do around the league. And my MVP criteria has long been best player in the league that season, the most impactful player in the league that season. That's who deserves to win the award. And where we are currently sitting, you know, Jokic, if you just kind of pay attention to kind of how the MVP tracker has tracked this, I'm going to share the screen a little bit, you all. Not a traditional thing, but I figured it'd be helpful. Jokic is leading currently in the MVP tracker. And I think a lot of this has been stuff that has left some fan bases not feeling like super happy about. So right now, if you look at it, Jokic has a 47% probability to win the MVP. But look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's right there, and rightfully so. Shai is on a 30-5 team. He's averaging 31 points, 6 assists, and 5.6 rebounds this year. And he's shooting 58.9% from 2 as a guard, which is just asinine. Like, it's just incredible. He's shooting 36% from 3, and then he's shooting 89% from the free throw line. He's a worthy winner if he wins. Nikola Jokic on the other end is averaging 31.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 9.7 assists, 1.7 steals per game, a half a block a game, shooting 57.6% from 2, shooting 47.3% from 3, and he's shooting 81% roughly from the free throw line. So if you look at that, it's like, well, of course, Jokic is obviously going to be in the race. But one of the things that I think people are really hanging on right now is, how is Jokic continuing to be in the MVP conversation despite the fact that the Nuggets are struggling? Again, they're the 4th seed. They're 20-14 on the year. They have not had great level basketball play from the team. Whereas Shai leading a 30-5 team. You got Tatum on the other end leading a team that's near the top of the conference in the East. And then you got Donovan Mitchell leading the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference as a whole. And so a lot of people are really trying to debate where exactly does wins, individual performance, and overall impact, how does all that stuff mesh? And I think there's some really interesting historical comps to where we are now. And one of the main things that I want to point people to now, because a lot of people don't realize that Michael Jordan, my favorite player, like ever. Like, I grew up watching his Airness documentaries. I thought he was the best thing that ever hit the streets of basketball. I mean, he honestly is incredible. I mean, I literally would watch the DVD, his Airness, in my house before all of my little league games, my AAU games, when I would travel. Like, I would watch his Airness documentary. And Michael deserved to win MVP. I think he deserved more. I think 1993, he should have won over Charles Barkley. I think in 1997, he should have won over Karl Malone. Like, he was that special to me. Like, there just wasn't anybody like him. But the year that I most think about when comparing kind of this season to Nikola Jokic. Now, again, it depends on where the Nuggets finish in the standings. We're going to find out, when the time comes. But I want y'all to see this, because what I think is important is just always to have context behind how some of these years actually went historically. So in the 1987-88 year, so 1987-88, the Chicago Bulls, they finished 50-32 that year. The Detroit Pistons won 4 more games. The Boston Celtics won 57. They won 7 more games. And the other conference, you had the Los Angeles Lakers. They won 62 games. The Denver Nuggets, they won 54 games. The Dallas Mavericks won 53. The Portland Trail Blazers won 53 games. So if you just go overall through standing, the Chicago Bulls had the 8th best record in the NBA that year. But who, you ask, won MVP that season? Well, go ahead and take a look. It was Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan won MVP that year, and that season, he averaged 35.0 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 5.9 assists per game, 3 steals, 1.6 blocks. He shot 53.5% from the field, which, again, for a guard at that era was just asinine. 84% from the line. But look at this. 21.2 win shares, and he had a .308 win shares per 48, which is just historically dominant. And I think sometimes people get lost on this thing with Joker because, well, how is it that Joker continues to be at these top of the mountains? And that's the thing. Like, if you just look at the way Joker plays and look at the impact metric for Joker, it's just, there's no one else like it. And I think, again, it's a 2-man race for me at this point. I think it's probably going to be either Joker or SGA that wins the MVP, and whoever does win it, they're going to deserve it. But one of the criticism that Joker continues to get is like, well, how is he able to win in the 2021-22 season as a 6th seed? And it's like, well, he averaged 27, 14, and 8 that year. The Denver Nuggets were the 6th seed, but they won 48 games. And the person that came number 2 in the race that year was Joel Embiid. He won 51 games on less games played. And then when they got James Harden, who was an all-star going into that year, he ended up getting there. I think they had like a 16-9 record when James Harden got there through 25 games. And the Nuggets went in there and beat them. And so I think that we're in a situation now where we have to be able to talk about what's happening with Jokic in the context of how great he is historically and how great this season is historically, and also the impact across the board, for everybody across the league. And I think the reason why this is such a contentious topic is because Joker is on pace to win 4 MVPs in 5 years. And only people that have ever done that are Bill Russell and LeBron James. Now, LeBron James, a lot of people don't realize this. LeBron James won 3 MVPs prior to winning his first title. Now, the context of that is LeBron won in 2009 and 2010, and then he won in 2012-13, but he won prior to them going to the NBA Finals. So prior to getting to the NBA Finals and winning, he had gone to 2 finals, was 0-2 in those finals, won his 3rd MVP, and then won the title. And then he went back-to-back and won in 12-13, 13-14. And then they obviously lost to the San Antonio Spurs that year. But I think if you just look at the context of what Joker is accomplishing, he is just such a dominant offensive player that is truly hard to talk about how impactful he is unless you're really just kind of plugged into some of the traditional things that like just solidify how great a player is. And I think Joker is in a very interesting situation now where, he really is just going to be able to, I think, grow as the year goes on. And I think as the Nuggets continue to win more games, like, it's just going to be really difficult for them to keep him from winning the MVP award. I mean, just to be honest with everybody, right now, if you look at the information, like for PBP stats, the Nuggets, when he's on court, have a 126.30 offensive rating, which obviously leads the NBA. When he's off, it's a 100.41, which would be the worst in the NBA. And then when defensive rating, it slips by almost 3 points, a 114.93 to a 117.40. So the defense gets worse when he's off. The offense gets worse when he's off. And when you just put that in context of like, if the Nuggets are able to survive this season and then be a 3 seed or 4 seed, or really a 3 seed with 50 plus wins on 31, 13, 10 stats on great efficiency, and the impact metrics are there. So you're going to have a one-on-one offensive season ever that's never existed. And then you're going to have the impact stuff that says that the Nuggets are a dominant, best team in the world type level when he's on the court. Yeah, I mean, it's just going to really be hard. But again, SGA, they're 30-5. He's the second best or third best, whatever one you say, best offensive player in the NBA this year. A tremendous defensive guard as well. His shot making is incredible. He has a very solidified argument. And so we'll see on the other end who wins. On the other side, y'all, we're going to talk about Michael Porter Jr., man. Like, Michael has had an underrated season. And I think in the last stretch of games, we're seeing something from Michael Porter Jr. that many of us hoped would be there. But honestly, you just never know how a player truly is going to develop. We're going to talk about all that more on the other side here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, from big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Look, all you got to do is visit the website and share betting lines around your team or league, and just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. Welcome back to Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This is your team every day, y'all. Make sure that if you're listening to this on the audio side, give us a 5-star review, man. More and more people are getting involved in the great content being made here at Locked On Nuggets. But also, y'all, straight up, we just crossed 8,500 subscribers, y'all. 8,500 subscribers on YouTube. I told y'all in the offseason, going into the start of the year, we're looking to see if we can get to 10,000 subscribers. And also what I found is almost half of you all that are watching this right now are not subscribed. Subscribe. That makes such a big difference in the audience that's getting this on a daily basis. And Locked On Nuggets is one of the best shows on Locked On because of you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. 10,000 is easy. If everybody watching this show right now stops, click, subscribe, and you're locked in. Y'all, Michael Porter Jr. Oh my goodness. Michael Porter Jr. is having a sneaky great year. He's not going to get the all-star play or anything like that, but man, you want to talk about a difference maker, somebody who's impacting winning, somebody who's helping the Nuggets to not just tread water, not just survive, but they're actually playing really well when Michael Porter Jr. was on the court this year. Last game versus the Spurs, who can forget, 28 points, 4 of 9 from 3, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and he got the game back in balance in that third quarter and in the fourth quarter when Jokic was out of the game. Him and DeAndre Jordan, they were just going crazy. Y'all, on the year, Michael Porter Jr. is averaging 19.1 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists per game, almost a steal, a half a block a game, 34.7 minutes a game, 52.4% from the field, 42.3% from three, and 71% from the free throw line. And he has a 63.5 true shooting this year. And just think, if he was hitting his free throws, y'all, and say at an 80% clip, I mean, it might be around like 66, 67. Like, what he is doing is honestly going crazy. Last 10 games for Porter, 21 points a game, 5.1 rebounds a game, 2 assists a game. He's shooting 55.6% from field, 50% from three on 7.2 attempts per game, 75.9% from the free throw line. And again, you get your averages up. He has a 70.7% true shooting, and he's a plus 80 in total in the last 10 games for the Denver Nuggets. And again, check out the PBP stats this year. When Michael Porter Jr. is on the court, y'all, do y'all realize that the Nuggets have a 122.79 offensive rating? And then when he's off the court, it drops to a 109.13. He has a plus 7.59 net rating and almost 1,200 minutes played this year. And given the fact that Porter has to stabilize a lot of time where he has to work with the bench, or it's like him and Jokic and the rest of the bench, honestly, like the difference even for like what Jokic does without Porter this year is noticeable. And I think this kind of speaks to Michael Porter Jr.'s value. And one of the things here is that because the Nuggets are so top heavy and because Jamal Murray's had a very inconsistent season this year, what that's meant is that Michael Porter Jr. has had to scale up his value, his role, and a lot of the stuff that he's being asked to do on a night-to-night basis. And this year, when Jokic and Porter are on the court, y'all, they have a plus 14.55 net rating this year. They have a 129.27 offensive rating, which is bonkers. It's insane. But listen to this. When Joker's on the court this year without Porter, 248 minutes played, limited sample size, the Nuggets have a 115.99 offensive rating with Jokic and no Porter. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I think one of the reasons is because Porter and his gravity as a shooter, it truly offers so much and so much shooting, so much and it's just even the way the court is kind of laid out. There are so many things that he offers to this team because the way he's able to get on and off ball, he comes off of DHO, he comes off of down screens. They can kind of set like a little drag screen for him. He'll come all the way through. He's able to get to the rim efficiently and score at a high level. Porter just has so many things to his game that allow for him to truly excel in this offense. And I think because of the way the court is currently laid out and because of the roster, like when Jokic doesn't have him on the court, they just functionally do not have the kind of shooting that you need, I think, to be able to optimize an offense, at least in the modern day. And so that's obviously something that they have to be aware of and something that needs to be dealt with. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that like has to be like addressed with this team, you know, but again, they wouldn't be as good as what they are right now without Porter. Like Porter this year, y'all, again, from 24 feet and beyond, shooting 42.7% from the three, but between 8 to 16 feet, he's shooting 51%, and between 16 to 24, he's shooting 42% from the field. In the restricted area, like right restricted area under, you know, right in front of the rim, 74% near that area. He's shooting 58% on left corner threes and 46% on right corner threes. So again, just think about like what it means to be able to have someone like that on the court. And he has a 120.2 effective field goal percentage as a shooter on assisted buckets. So without Porter, man, they just wouldn't have they just simply would not have the ability to kind of invert their offense the way that they do, depending on Joker with the inside game, like all of those things. Now, Jamal Murray is going to be needed. Like tonight, for instance, Jamal Murray is going to be needed versus the Boston Celtics. We're going to get into that on the other side because especially the way that Boston plays, you know, you see when they struggle in particular sometimes with these guards that are really quick off the dribble, able to create space, able to create contact, but you're also just going to have to kind of space them out. Now, the interior defense is not like exceptional. Kristaps Porzingis obviously very good at times. Al Horford can still be a very good defender at times. But Jokic, by and large, has been able to dominate that matchup. But Murray last year, remember when they went to Boston, had 35 points. The shot making was key. He also had some really good shot making moments when Jokic was out of the game last year. And then the two-man game between two of them was just exceptional. And Porter, he's going to be guarded by Brown. He's going to be guarded by Tatum, maybe Drew, maybe Derek. They might put him in a situation where they're having to rely on Jamal more because they're pressing so closely to Michael Porter Jr. and trying to make sure he does not get off and get active tonight. But overall, man, I truly just think that Porter doesn't get the credit he deserves. And even when we talked in Locked On Nuggets just a few weeks ago, when we talked about the idea of Porter getting traded, and I said I think Porter's getting traded. It had nothing to do with Porter. It had to do with everything with the fact that he's so good and he's functioning so well in this role that because of Murray's deficiency, they might feel like they need to get another on-ball creator to make it work. But maybe it doesn't happen. Like, honestly, like maybe they don't make any more trades. Maybe Murray's able to pick it up. They're able to get back where they need to go. And maybe Porter, maybe this is the real version, and he's just that good where he offers enough as a number 2 scoring option. But y'all, on the other side, we're going to preview this Boston Celtics game, man. This is going to be the game of the night. And I do think this could be a statement game of sorts for Denver. They already got wins over OKC and some other teams, but getting a win versus Boston and Denver might also change the tone even more. We'll be right back for more here at Locked On Nuggets. Y'all, basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while we're watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prizepicks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just love some friendly competition, Prizepicks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Now, here's how it works. You pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think LeBron James going to drop 30 points, or maybe Luka is getting more than 8 assists, or Jokic. Prizepicks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. Now, again, I've been using Prizepicks for a while now. Let me tell you, it's addictive. Last week, I picked Jason Tatum for more than 29 plus points, Anthony Edwards for more than 25 points. That's the kind of action I'm talking about. And with Prizepicks Flex Play option, even if one of my picks doesn't hit, I can still double my money. Plus, once I hit, I get my money fast, sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It's honestly the best way to keep the game exciting. Now it's the perfect time to join. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prizepicks. Run your game. Y'all, we'll be right back for more here on Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. This is your host, Swiper. This has been a very interesting season, man. I cannot wait to get started with this game tonight, man. The Boston Celtics are really good, man. Like, not a lot of people like watching them play. You know, when I do multiple shows across multiple platforms, they are by far the team that I get the most complaints about because of their play style. And again, I think that's really interesting just because they obviously won a championship last year, but I think people, because of the 3-point rate, it just really throws them off in how they're playing. But if you look on the year and you check out Dunks and 3, Boston Celtics are 26-10. The Celtics have a plus 9.0 net rating. They have the number 1 offense in basketball at 119.1. They have the 7th ranked defense at 110.1. So they're playing really well. They're playing really well. They've been dominating. Now, the Denver Nuggets, on the other hand, they're a top 10 team in net rating now. They're back to a plus 3.4, 116.6 offensive rating, and a 113.3 defensive rating, which is 17th. So hopefully that continues to go up. But if you kind of look at like how Boston plays, one of the things that makes them so dangerous is the fact that they're able to get up so many 3-point shots that it really puts you in a bind as a defense. And when you're talking about like things that make you work, getting and hunting high quality 3-point shots is truly a science. And Boston's better at it than anybody else. 55.3% of the Boston Celtics shot profile is from the 3-point line. 55%. That's almost 8% higher than the next closest team, and that's the Chicago Bulls. And then right after them, it's actually the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is interesting because they're trying to overcome for the spacing issues they have. But if you look at the Nuggets only shoot 34.3% of their 3-point shots. So shot profile from 3. That's last in the NBA and like by a decent amount. So Boston is officially taking 20% more of their shot profile from 3. And when you're the Nuggets, that is a danger zone. That is a danger zone. You truly, truly have to make sure that you're paying attention to your keys, paying attention to your assignments on defense, and focusing in on making sure your rotations are as tight as possible. And especially since Boston just came off a very bad loss in their mind to the OKC Thunder, where they scored 27 points in the second half. Let me say that again. When Boston played OKC this last Sunday, they scored 27 points, not in the third quarter, not in the fourth quarter. They scored 27 points in the second half. Jason Tatum was not able to get off in the second half of that game. He finished with 26 points, but he was a minus 12 in that game, 7 of 17 from the field. Had to force up a lot of jump shots in the second half because he could not get by. This year, Tatum's averaging 28 points, 1 points a game, 9.4 rebounds, 5.5 assists. He's having a really good year. I think Tatum's been one of the 5 or 6 best players in basketball this year, kind of depending on how you want to talk about Wemby. And when you put the entire Boston Celtics starting 5 together, they're one of the best in the league, if not the best. So the place that they're in now is the Nuggets are wanting to continue to hang in with the top 4 in the Western Conference. And in order to do that, I think they're going to need to beat Boston today. And Jokic is obviously going to do what Jokic does. Jokic last 4 games versus Boston. His last 4 games versus Boston, Jokic is averaging 31.3 points per game, 11 rebounds, 8.8 assists. And if you take it to the last 3 games that they played, in which they won all of these games, Jokic is averaging 32, 12 rebounds, 10.7 assists. He's shooting 65% from the field, 66.7% from 3, only 6 attempts in total. He's 22 of 22 from the free throw line in those 3 games. Wow. And a 75.4 true shooting. Joker is probably going to have a good amount of room to get off in this game. He probably will. And the way that Joker's been playing as of late, he's probably going to score a lot as well. And again, some of this is because he's had to put up a lot of shots. Last 10, he's averaging 33 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists. But I think a lot of today is going to come down to Jamal, man, and Russ. Now, Russ, I do think he's going to be able to play good defense in this game. Russ is going to be really important. Christian Brown is going to be really important. Peyton Watson is going to be really important. It's really going to come down to them to make sure they're locking in defensively and doing their job there. But overall, I think Jamal Murray is just going to have to step up and be able to get some better performances. Remember, last 2 games versus the Spurs, Jamal Murray is shooting. Last 2 games versus the Spurs, he's 12 of 34 from the field. The last 3 games, including the game versus Atlanta, Jamal Murray is, 12, 18, 48. Jamal Murray is 18 of 48 from the field. So he's shooting below 40%. And Jamal's just going to have to play a better game. I really don't know what to tell you. He's not hurt beyond what he was in December when he had a really good month. But Jamal's process has to be better. His shot-making decisions have to be better. The passes have to be there. And defensively, he has to lock in because of the way that last year when the Celtics tried to hunt him, he actually played really well, defensively, especially in the post, versus Tatum. And so when he does get tried today, he has to be stout. As simple as that. He has to be stout. He has to lock into what he's going to do. And also Russ. Russ is going to play good defense. He's going to be active everywhere. Russ needs to continue to play a very smart, pass-heavy brand of basketball because when he's on the court with Jokic and with Murray and Porter, they're flying around, making plays, they're hitting shots, and the defense is really going to be big this game, especially for Peyton Watson. There's no Aaron Gordon, I don't think, tonight. So Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, and Christian Brown and Russell Westbrook are going to have a heavy load with no AG. One of the reasons why they match up so well with Boston and have been able to win these matchups because they've had Aaron Gordon. Even when they won in January of 23, Bruce Brown started at the point guard that day. They were able to still get a victory, I think 123 to 111. So overall, I think this is going to be an opportunity for a statement game for Denver. They got to show up. They got to make sure they do their job tonight, and they got to play really sound, disciplined defense and be aggressive, especially on the other end. But, y'all, that's going to do it here for Locked On Nuggets. Let me know what you think. Who wins tonight? What do you think about Jokic's MVP argument? How do you feel about Michael Porter Jr.'s ascension? I'm Swiper, Locked On Nuggets. See you on the other side.